Talk 102.3 FM Riverside. KCAA NBCRadioNews.com.
And now it's time for The Dating Doctor.
Prescribed by Dr. Carlos
And Physicians Assistant Steve Estrada.
Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart.
Much better than a
Owner of a broken heart.
Hey.
Owner of a broken heart.
Ooh.
Broke that heart.
Bro.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what happens when you don't know. When you don't learn the principles. Look at the guy's face.
Too
Broken
bad
heart.
for you.
Oh, yeah.
Broken.
Obviously doesn't know the principles.
Broken. You gotta see this video. Couple of dudes, stiff. You know what I mean? What's that dance we was doing today?
Floss? The
Was it the
floss.
floss? They didn't floss.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't floss.
Now,
Crazy.
Back then.
Crazy, right?
Way back then.
So, man, what's the episode? What's today? What's today?
Wait a minute now. I think we're starting a new season. I
Uh-oh.
don't want to get too carried away.
Dude, we're gonna outlast The Walking
Season
Dead.
what?
We're gonna go longer than The Walking Dead, bro. Walking Dead.
of course.
There's a goal. There's a goal.
But we gotta do it without any awards,
No.
any recognition, few likes, just from the people that work here.
No pretend lives.
No more bingers.
All right, no more binge. So we are season 3,
Wow.
Da-da-da-da.
episode 1.
We're almost famous.
Season 3, episode 1.
We are famous.
The blogs are out there. They are they're pleading and begging for KCAA to kick us off there, right? But I give the guy the credit card and he keeps going. Okay,
Keep paying that bill.
We'll put you back on.
Okay.
We'll put you back on. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun. This is the beginning of our 3rd season, our 17th show.
Season.
Oh my.
And just in case you bingers out there don't know, it is completely random.
You think
The
they don't know
seasons
that?
and the episodes, right? Because
There's
I
no
don't know,
script?
like there's supposed to be 8 per season, you know.
Oh.
But it could be the 17th season. You know, everything's
We're
episode
starting a
1.
new trend. 8 shows makes
Yeah.
a season.
So season 3, episode 1. And on this show, what do? We talk about the foundation for good relationships and good dating. So we're trying to build icebergs out of people. Because what do we see on top of the iceberg?
Just a little bit.
The
Just
tiny
a little
tip.
bit.
What do we see?
A lot.
The personality.
Oh,
We
wow.
see the personality. And we see the smile. We see the looks.
Superficial.
In other words, enough to get us tied down for about 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's what we do. The looks and the smile. And but what's below the water?
Foundation. Everything.
It needs
Character. 80%
Real stuff.
of the iceberg is below the water. And I heard that 90% of statistics are made up on the spot. Have you ever heard that one?
But I think you're onto something here. I
Yeah.
think you're onto something
Yeah.
here. I've seen an
Yeah.
iceberg in a movie
No,
once.
seriously.
Yeah, I've hung out with you enough to know that that's the truth.
I mean, come on, bro. You gotta sound smart. You know?
It's half the
data.
battle.
It's all data.
Make America great again, bro. You know?
MAGA.
So, anyways, we So we're doing a good job at trying to teach our people, our audience, how to succeed in relationships, how to meet somebody, and how to not be lured into the 3-year breakup, right? And I gotta tell you, we're doing a horrible job at it.
We need to work harder.
Yeah, we have to work harder. So maybe season 4 we'll start breaking through. So, but today is I do want to introduce our studio audience
Wow.
to our people out there.
What an audience.
And also, what about the t-shirts? What's the news on the t-shirts? What do we got?
T-shirts are still very popular amongst ourselves.
Yes.
We're purchasing most of the T-shirts.
Okay.
And our VP of Operations is threatening to order another box.
Oh, please.
So I'm just saying,
That is not good.
as far as we're concerned, they're flying somewhere. We just don't know where.
I'll take one.
Okay.
We just sold one.
Andy's buying one. We just sold one. Man, I'm telling you, we're pretty good at this.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. First of all, I'm your host, Carlos Mendez, and joining us here is also our PA, our physician assistant, Steve Estrada.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We have the lovely Della
Ooh,
Lisi Kerr.
that would be me.
Lovely and talented.
And talented.
Not to mention educated.
Yeah, educated.
Educated, I like that.
She got a lot going on. She got
Yeah,
a lot.
you got it all.
Wow.
Boys.
Somebody's gonna get lucky. We got Kyle Jennett in the house. Woo! The motocross superstar.
We like to call him Evil Knievel around here.
Evil Knievel. Remember?
Yeah,
I used to call you that.
I do recall.
First couple of weeks. Right?
Thank God I broke that one.
Yeah. And we got a sneaker. We got a sneaker. She sneaked in. Andy Moran. Say hello, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
She's back by popular demand.
Yay.
You're blessed with my presence.
Right? All right. Thanks for coming, Andy. Good, man. We got all the way from the Ukraine.
Woo, that's
Wow.
far away.
They call her the Ukraine Hammer. Yeah? Is that what you call
The
it?
Ukrainian hammer.
Yeah, Ukrainian Hammer. Marina Koreneva.
Welcome.
Say hello.
Nice to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Just arrived at the LAX.
Fresh off the boat.
Just came here. So excited. Happy to see you.
Thank you. We
Missed
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. That's good stuff. We also got our girl Mary Gray in the audience today. Mary Gray, say hello.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you. Happy to
Absolutely.
be here, guys.
Good job. Good job. And then we got Fernie back. This is your third or fourth show, bro?
I think it's the third.
Yeah, you know. All right, well, we got Fernando back in the house. Say hello, Fernando.
I think I'm better.
A veteran.
He's a vet, right? And we got this guy seems to be a regular now.
He won't go away.
He won't.
He keeps showing up.
And he does the floss pretty good,
Beautiful.
according to him.
I've heard about it.
We got Austin Chamberlain in the house. Say hello.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
All right, Austin
I'll show you the
Chamberlain.
floss later.
Yeah, he'll floss a little later. He drops a little bit of knowledge too. He does a little wisdom here on the show. So we like to bring him on the show. You know.
I
Say
forced
hello.
my way on.
And we got for the first time,
Oh my.
you know, we got Mr. Under the Radar, Mr. Eduardo Lalo Perez.
It's like my tires on my car. Low profile.
Nice. That's a good one.
Keep it low, bro.
It's an honor, though. Thanks for
I
having me.
love it. I love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for being here. So today we're gonna have some fun because we got a big audience. So we're gonna do some questions and some answers, and Steve is gonna get into this. I think Austin, you wanted to finish the. We got about how many minutes we got for the first session here?
Check out that time.
Like 10 minutes left.
10 minutes left. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and finish. Austin was suggesting that we finish humility because we didn't have a chance to finish.
Right. We were talking about our Baker's Dozen of our foundational principles. Baker's Dozen meaning 13, and we were on number 13, and that was humility.
Humility.
And we touched a little bit on it, but sometimes we've talked about, what's the most important principle, and it's hard to argue that humility isn't the most important principle.
Yeah, inarguably.
Yeah.
Is
how do you define it? You say it's a godlike quality?
Yeah, it's a godlike quality.
Yeah,
Godlike quality.
Humility. And for me, it's the motivation to keep reading, keep studying, and keep focusing on getting better, because I don't have all the answers, and I don't think anybody does. So, it segues nicely from our, principle of personal development. So humility is a subject, guys.
Very good. So I guess we want to ask, in terms of a relationship, how important is humility, Miss Kerr?
Oh, goodness. Stephen Covey refers to humility as the mother of all the other principles.
Wow.
So I would imagine that a relationship can't work when you've got two narcissists, right? You've got two people who think only of themselves. Humility means you have to take yourself out of yourself. The definition of humility is a modest view of one's own importance. So
deep.
if we look at ourselves,
I like
a
that.
modest view of one's importance.
Wow.
What do you say to that, Doctor?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I agree. I mean, I love that definition. I love that
Honest view
definition,
of
and I think
someone's-
part of any communion is in need of that. Whether you're two people or a team, or even dealing with children, your children.
Children make you humble.
Yeah, yeah.
You learn humility with
Yeah.
children.
And it's but I've heard of a lot of good parents or good behavior from parents where part of the experience was that they learned and learned and read about from Stephen Covey that he would learn so much from his children. So they come home from school and he would ask questions with deep sincerity and a deep desire to actually understand what they were learning, and he said he learned so much from them. It's humility, and so you temper down your importance, right, and significance, and you transfer it to the other person, and it's a great effect on a relationship.
Absolutely. The work relationship comes to mind because, our company's growing and developing, and we've got a lot of people with a lot of ideas. And for those of us that are in leadership roles, it's a really successful dynamic when you're open to listening and considering their ideas and their thoughts. Because let's face it, we don't know everything, and the adage of two heads are better than one. It's absolutely true. And if you add a few more people into that equation, you got 30 people working together to make something happen. How do you ignore the value of that? So you got to be humble to be open to the value, and this is a solid one.
This is a good one. What do you think, Kyle? In relationships,
In a
humility.
relationship, obviously, being humble is a big part of it, in that there's compromise in every aspect of a relationship. And if you put your own time or feelings ahead of somebody else, it's never going to feel good to the other person, and it's just going to be a constant battle. So I think that both of you willing to put yourselves aside and make sacrifices, whether it's time or whatever it may be, I think it's super important. It's something that I've struggled with growing up racing motocross. I thought the world revolved around me.
Oh.
I had a team of people that were telling me how great I was.
Very humble.
So of course, it went to my head. I'm 16 years old, and I think I'm fucking awesome. Or I think I'm awesome, and that's something that I had to overcome. And the older I got, the more I realized that it really didn't matter.
Perfect. So, no, we're good. We're good. So, Andy, what about humility in relationships?
Well, humility is humility is something that people don't really think about as often. The way I've read as a definition of humility is not, it was a phrase that I heard that somebody told me. It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Yeah, she can-
lovely.
So
I like that.
it's definitely something that you want to think in depth, because humility is something that's really difficult to consume, to digest.
Yeah.
So if you're not, surrounded by people who are spreading that knowledge and pushing you to be a better person, and pushing you to, listen, or understand before being understood, putting others before yourself, then you're not ever thinking of it. You're always thinking of yourself. I think selfishness is natural to people.
Yeah.
So it's
Tendency, natural tendency.
Right.
That was good. Good input. You got to come back every Thursday or every Sunday. Sorry, every Sunday. Yeah, So no, great feedback there. So Mary Gray, what do you think about humility?
Well, I'm agree that I'm thinking on, like you say, on couples. I think it's something that both have to carry on, because it's really important for the relationship to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And not only on relationship, but also on every relation that you have with people, friends and family. It's important to have that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you. Very wise.
Very
I love it.
Welcome.
Good job, man.
Sometimes less is better, That's good. So, Carnova, what do you think?
I think that humility is crucial, because it's about recognizing the importance and the value of another person. And it's, for me personally, it's equal to unconditional love, where you care about the other person and you put them first, and your relationship becomes an act of giving instead of act of receiving. That's what you concentrate on, and you just change your focus from yourself. And then when two people do that for each other, I believe that's very valuable, and it's very unique nowadays. But it makes the relationship whole and sincere and lasting for a long time.
Good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a little unicorn there for us. That's good. You like that? You like that unicorn effect? You know what I mean?
Unicorn.
Yeah. But you're right. It's very rare today, for especially for two people to be together, and we call that a forever relationship.
Yeah, you focus on giving instead of receiving, and that's a good combination in terms of an approach.
Yeah, I like that. Good job. So, Fernando, what do you think?
I think it's a very, very important aspect to having a successful relationship. You have to be humble enough to say, it's not about me anymore, but it's also not about you. It's about us. It's we now. It's a unit together. So there's definitely compromise involved, but you have to think what benefits my partner and myself, or what's going to get us ahead. And it can come down to, I think, as simple as maybe a Thanksgiving dinner, to where you might want to spend it with your family, she might want to spend it with hers. And it's all about just being solution oriented, where instead of choosing one over the other, you go to both different times. And it's about compromise and just understanding that it's not individualistic anymore. Now it's a team. So I don't agree with saying what can benefit you, because then you lose, if you give too much. And they shouldn't give me too much. It should be a unit.
Little debate, you know what I'm saying? Start throwing down up in here. Little argument, you know what I mean? Disagreement. I like it. Okay, so Austin.
I think in terms of humility within a relationship, I think it's important that we don't assume that we have it nailed down already, that we're perfect at relationships, because a lot of us are not good at them. Most people are not principle-centered, so it's important that you recognize that there are things that you can improve upon. Obviously, there are things that the other person can improve upon. And so I think being aware that, putting the other person and yourself, like Fernando said, as a team, and being aware that everyone has their own interests, people like certain things, people dislike certain things. So the constant improvement ties in with personal development that goes hand in hand with humility within a relationship. You just can't assume that you know it.
Hold on a second. You didn't hear me because I was taking off my scuba gear. That was deep right there, homie.
Scuba gear.
You know what they say about
He
that?
took us.
There goes a group.
He took us away. He took us away from the wading pool.
Yeah, he did.
I feel the pressure of the ocean upon my head.
Bro, 2.4.
You could feel
2.4, but we won't go there. 2.4 atmospheric. H-bot.
What PSI?
H-bot. Lalo, what's up, man? What's up with humility and relationships?
I think a lot of relationships lack humility just because, two people obviously who can't, be humble and, practice humility within the relationship, they'll notice that it could cause a domino effect, Humility, you're not having importance on certain things. For instance, somebody, doesn't want to tell the truth. And I mean, there's just a lot of things, it might not be, to some people, they might not think it's important to do certain things, be collaborative. For instance, like Fernando said, instead of, trying to think just about yourself, it's obviously, it's a unit, it's two people together. There's got to be compromise with them both, to be able to kind of come to an agreement. So I feel like a lot of relationships lack that, and that's essentially why a lot of fights end up being caused, and then there's other principles being broken. Collaborativeness is not there, truthfulness, people being honest is not there. So I think it's a big principle that could damage others if not practiced and exercised on a regular basis.
Damage yourself.
Yeah, that's good, man. Humility. So let me ask you guys a question. We're gonna go off into a break, but I'm gonna ask one question and see if anybody can help me and the audience understand this a little deeper. But in the sense of a first date, okay, how would you be able to identify lack of humility?
Lack of humility?
Yeah, because this is what we're teaching here, right? Because you need to identify this early so that we don't move into the 3-year mark, right? And then go through the broken-hearted deal. So how do we do this? How do we up front? Let's talk about first date. How do you identify lack of humility?
I think if you're going to a restaurant, for example, and you're having a meal, how they treat the staff in the restaurant, from the folks that sit you to the folks that serve the table and bust the table. How are they treating them? Are they being kind, or are they being a snob, or worse? I look for that.
All right, that's a good one. Anybody else got a good one?
Someone who lacks humility may find themselves speaking a lot about themselves, really hyping themselves up. I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that. Whereas somebody who's humble isn't thinking about themselves, they're thinking about the other person, asking the other person, real questions that get to the core of the person. They don't care about themselves. They want to get to the real person that they're sitting across from. Whereas somebody who's not humble is like, flipping a girl, for an example, flipping hair.
XX chromosomes.
I'm so gorgeous. I'm so smart.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well,
I threw my snorkel gear away for that one.
Yeah, that
Had to
could
get
be
my
nerves,
deep
but
diving.
there's a very valid point in that, because you'd be asking questions. A humble person would be asking you questions, or you would be asking them questions. I think that's really valid.
That's a big point. Yeah.
Did you have one?
Not necessarily. I mean, I really just highly agree with what Della says there. If somebody's, obviously you're at dinner with somebody and all they're doing is talking about themselves, and they don't have like one question aimed towards you about what you do, what qualities you have, then you can just already see the lack of care that person has for you. So I say that's a red flag.
Or the
red flag. If
Yeah,
it's
the lack of care about you and too much
getting
about
to know
themselves.
you and things of that. Yeah, so I think it's a red
You know,
flag.
the Dirty Dozen is geared to sniff some of this out, right? So
Absolutely.
one of the questions on there specifically that I think is addressing this is, what are you reading and who's your mentor?
Yep.
And the answer to that is going to be interesting.
That's right.
Because it's going to show, where they're at with their quest for knowledge and their quest to learn more and their quest to get better in life in general.
And to show they don't have all the answers, and they're committed to always being their best selves, and they're diligently studying and working towards that knowledge.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out of the air. You got to go after it and get it. Read a
Good.
book, take a course, etc.
I would look when answering for questions on what have you done for others as well,
Mm-hmm.
to identify humbleness. It doesn't have to be monetary, but
Mm-hmm.
just what have you done for others? How
Mhm.
have you impacted someone else's life, or are you aiming to impact others?
We might want to consider that as a question on the Dirty Dozen.
Add it on.
We don't-
Add it on to make it a
I-
part B
Make
to
it
the question.
A piece to something else.
I've been asking for the, what are you reading now? Where are you volunteering?
I like that.
Because a lot of the folks that I've been talking to, when you ask them about what they're reading, it really is not indicative of their growth as a partner, but rather as their individual growth. However, when you ask them where they're volunteering, then you've got a better idea of what they think is important and how they can pay it forward.
Mhm.
And to me, that's a sign of humility.
Just make sure it's not court ordered.
Yeah, no court orders.
Catch me on the side of the
Because
road.
I got 60 hours to complete.
Second here.
Yeah, I think to add to that, Della, is because volunteering can be a lot of things. I can
Yeah.
volunteer at a dog shelter, but
Yeah.
you can also volunteer your time. So you can say,
That's what I
who do you spend your time with? Because knowing who they spend their time with will also tell you a lot about a person.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's
Where
important
are you giving
to.
of yourself?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And also, it's just identifying. Do they think they know everything? I mean, this is serious stuff, serious stuff. So, Steve, want to take us off into the first break?
Yes, sir. So, folks, you guys are listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today the show is being brought to you by Elevate Health Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy. This is the latest innovation in the pursuit of optimal health.
All right, perfect. Thanks for being with us on the first session, and we'll talk to you on the other side here. Shot to the heart, you're to blame. You give love a bad name. Play my part, you play your game. You give love a bad name.
Love a bad name.
Oh my God! Seriously? Seriously?
Apparently we are serious.
May I add a request?
Yes.
So, since you are a dating doctor, I would assume that your target audience is going to be, younger people.
Mm-hmm.
And not that this song isn't a good song,
Mhm.
but I think you would get a little bit more listeners if you added some fresh music.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
newer
Perhaps
type
the
of-
weekend.
How about broken?
We have an answer.
Hold on. So I have a thing for that. So we did the research on that,
Okay.
and the number one audience
Mm-hmm.
listening were women between the ages of 35 to 55.
Really?
Wow.
Holla at your
35
boy.
to
I was not
55.
There you go.
Where'd
That's our
you get
target
this?
audience.
But I want to go to colleges
Yeah.
because I think that we can talk more.
Many years on
Teach
the
more
young
people.
We can
Yeah,
help
absolutely.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So no, I think we can do that. We play some fast and young music.
Thank
What kind of music
thank
do we
you,
play?
Andy. Appreciate
Like
it.
ASAP, like
I don't know who
No
this is,
Limit
No.
but,
Lovely the
thank you,
band.
on the DM. The DM.
Or not.
Oh yeah, Yo Gotti goes
It goes
down to
down.
the DM.
Tatiana. Tatiana.
I don't know who that is.
Tatiana.
I'll send links.
So when we were on break, we got into an interesting discussion. By the way, thanks for the humility thing. We kind of closed that off. Everybody got to talk about that. But You want to go ahead and?
Yeah, just to remind you guys, you're listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today the show is also brought to you by meetingsinglesnow.com, where we bring you the best events to meet quality singles.
Yay.
Look forward to those events. They're coming
Lord.
very soon.
We have T-shirts and we got .coms that don't exist. We are on point. All right,
Actually,
check this
we
out.
bought that one.
We did buy it.
We do.
Let's put some things on
Gotta
it.
do
I want to
something
get some
on it.
people going.
Tinder traffic
So-
has been down since the dating doctor.
Hey, you know
We're
what?
not
Look.
talking
It
Tinder.
says, "You give love a bad name." Okay, that's the song. And the guy says, "You promised me heaven, and you gave me hell." Does that sound familiar? So, what is the divorce rate, guys?
Over 50%.
Over 50. Now, I've always looked at that as an interesting thing. At the altar, we all say,
Till death do you part.
"I do."
Oh,
Is that correct? And until
Start
death
with-
do you part.
start
You
with
guys agree?
Sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health. Which, you know what they're missing is in broke. Because that's what, if they say that, they might stay. But as soon as somebody go broke, they go, "It ain't sickness, it ain't health, bro, I'm out."
Well, they always got.
And
Okay.
in wealth.
They also have for richer or poorer.
Oh, they do. They
Throw that in
do.
there. That's why.
Bro!
I know.
Baby
we
bash.
Don't listen. We
They
don't
should
listen.
take that
She be there when
out.
it
They
was
should
gone.
take that out. Because that's what's the number one reason for divorce?
Finances.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Finance.
It's not sickness and health. It's not any of those things. It's finance.
Well, finance is number one, but sickness will do it too because some people are too shallow. Like think about this.
That's true.
Think about this. If you get married because of somebody's appearance, right, which apparently is
50%
50% of people are doing this, then you would leave them if they were sick,
Yeah.
right? Especially if they weren't recoverable,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's sad to think, but it happens. You know,
Yeah.
there's accidents and people lose,
Full mobility.
full mobility. And it's, that's why I love to see a dedicated, I mean, we all do, I think. When we see that, we consider that the obvious, the honorable person,
Selfless person.
right? Selfless.
Yes,
Humble.
the
Yeah.
selfless,
Humble.
humble person.
It is. And so, that's a good song. It's a good song. And, okay, let's talk about, when we were on break, we talked about the subject of, what the hell, I forgot. What was it we were talking about?
It was about somebody learning from
I-
the show, and then we got into a conversation about.
I had said that from this show, I have learned that I wouldn't be right for anybody until I get my dirty dozen, my
Dirty Dozen.
my dirty dozen or my principles in line.
Yeah,
And then
that wasn't what we were talking about.
How individuals are afraid to end up alone, or that they don't feel that they're good
No,
enough to
it
be
was-
someone.
we were talking about
Conversation, I don't know.
the fear of being alone.
When were we talking about that?
That was the last thing we talked about. So,
It was a good
okay.
conversation.
In fact, we talked about what you said, and then we ended with the the fear of being lonely. And so let's talk about that. Are people afraid of being lonely, or are they afraid of their ability to find the right person? Which one is it?
Ding, 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 ding.
People are afraid in terms of what they're going to get stuck with. And so that fear ends up, I think, making people just not engage or looking at things from a superficial perspective. The thing that I wanted to talk about today is certainly going to speak to that, but that's my take on it.
This dude went right to the thing he was going to talk about. He didn't even wait. He went right.
flexible.
He did not. He went right.
No, go ahead and
Wait, Andy, what is it? What do you think?
Do you mind repeating the second?
Okay, so here's the question. So the question is, are people afraid of being alone, or are they afraid of their ability to meet the right person?
So, speaking specifically on the second one, which is being afraid of finding that
The right person.
The right person. I think that comes with a lot of insecurity in themselves.
Yes.
So
Totally.
if you're insecure with yourself and you are not ready for a relationship, then that will bring on the fear. Okay, because you don't have the confidence to find the right person that you're looking for,
Right.
because you're not that person.
Or the
But I think
foundation to find the right person, I think. You don't have
And
the
that's what she's
foundation.
talking
Right,
about.
Yeah.
you don't
That's
have the
what she's talking
foundation.
That's what
Or
she's talking
that
about.
you stay with somebody that isn't good for you just because you're afraid. You don't have the confidence and you don't know that you can go out and find that person. So you stay in a toxic relationship.
Because you're afraid of being alone.
That's right. So it all comes
Or
back
are you afraid that you cannot find the right person? You see how that's
The chicken or the egg.
It's
I
the
mean-
chick. It's unbelievable.
We're Homo sapiens. We're going to continue to, we're people, we're human beings, and we're flawed. So
Now, when you say we,
I'm talking
You
about
can't-
everybody else in here but me.
no.
We're humans and we're
No,
flawed.
right.
We're-
No, we are
we
flawed.
are.
We
We
are
are
flawed.
flawed.
But there are people that have confidence
Right, there
and
are.
will not compromise and for what they want.
Because they're principle centered,
Perhaps
we'd like to think.
we'd like to think.
Well, they're listening to our show, right?
No, I hear you. I mean, what do you think?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Because I can't really wrap my head around a person who is afraid to be alone.
Right.
The concept for me is very confusing because I don't understand who would be that person. Who would be afraid to be alone, like with themselves? I don't understand that.
So there are people that cannot be alone, and we've said this. So you know the person that breaks up, but they broke up because they cheat, right? And then they're with it. So there's never a break where they don't have somebody. You've had girlfriends where you go, oh, she has to be with somebody.
Yeah.
You follow me? So these, as they get older, we start referring to them as, this person is afraid of being alone. So they will never be alone. They always have to be with somebody. But if you have that fear, it is a given that you will always be with the wrong person. Because the reason of being with someone is because of fear of being alone, not because you're finding the right person.
Yeah, but why are they afraid?
Why are they afraid?
of? Yeah, like why is that
Oh,
person
why is that
so in need of being with someone?
They're needy.
Because they don't have something in themselves that they need another person to give
Yeah.
them a feeling of so that they feel better about themselves.
They don't love themselves, right? Probably.
Yeah, don't have self-esteem, self-love,
So they
confidence.
want to find it in somebody else. So they can't be alone.
Got it.
Have you ever met people that can't be alone?
Yes.
Right, and why do you think, I mean, just in your opinion, what is it that you thought about them when you thought, okay, why can't they be alone? You thought, why? Why is it that they can't be alone? Why do you think that reason is?
Oh goodness. They may be people who just enjoy company and don't like to be alone with themselves. They can't function without having another presence near them, or maybe they grew up, just always being around people where when they're by themselves, they can't.
They're insecure.
They're insecure.
Yeah. So in that insecurity, can you see how it will be very difficult because of that insecurity to actually become a person of self-worth so that you can find another of self-worth? So you're constantly just finding the next person that will pay you any attention or time.
And just to jump in here, I think the people that are alone or afraid to be alone with themselves, these are people that don't want to even be in their own thoughts.
Right.
These are people that are essentially dependent on other people's affection or
There you
other
go.
people's attention. Your own attention is not enough for you because you are insecure. you're a dependent person, and so your centers are not aligned with principles. And so you're easily swayed by people's time and the way they view you. And so those people, they are, afraid to be alone.
They're not independent.
They need to be validated.
They're not independent
Well,
yet.
and
not.
their circle of concern and their circle of influence are completely distorted.
Yeah.
They need someone else to create their
They
own.
live.
And we should never need someone else.
They live in
We
their
should never
circle of
need
concern.
anyone else.
Nope.
They're not independent. They gotta get to that level before they even waste time of another.
And that in and of itself is the conundrum of life. Because codependent people tend to need others. That's why we call it
Dependent.
So then, because of that need they feel they have, they are in constant relationships that are not appropriate, just by definition, because they're codependent relationships. Because an independent person does not want a codependent person.
They will choose someone because they want to be with them.
Exactly, and then become
Interdependent.
Interdependent.
Yeah,
So
that's the goal.
yeah, I got to bring my gear, bro. When you talk,
Scuba duba.
what's the divers situation?
With the bends?
Bends, bro. This guy gives me the bends. You gotta
He gives you the bends.
bro.
We need a chamber.
Gotta
gotta
get
bring-
in that chamber.
You need a chamber.
Austin's taking us deep.
You got a Benz in the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're down there and you come up too fast. Yeah. So it doesn't really apply what I said, but you know.
Sounds good.
But it
I
sounds
like
good.
it. I like
No,
it.
you're right. But I just want to wear gear when these guys talk, because he goes deep.
Yeah.
He goes deep. You need your
I don't
little
think I've had
tank.
a conversation with Austin.
Yeah.
Just at a bar.
I hadn't think about it.
Just at a bar.
Yeah.
She's called me Justin quite a few times. I remember that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, at a bar is the key there.
Yeah.
At the bar.
Yeah.
At a bar.
Justin Underlake. So what do you think, bro? What do we think? You're a guy that doesn't mind being alone.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what your mindset is. I mean, obviously, if you want to be with somebody, then you'll try to find somebody to be with. But obviously, if you're want to be alone, you want to focus on yourself. Obviously, then you should be on your own, working on yourself in order to be able to, once the time comes and you meet somebody and somebody you want to start dating, well then you'll be more ready for that. But I think it just depends on the mindset, big time. If you want to be with somebody, you're dating, trying to find somebody, then go for it. But I think it all starts with mindset. You can't be in a distorted mindset where you want to be with somebody but don't want to commit with that person. Because I think commitment has a lot to do with it as well. I feel like a lot of people aren't really afraid to be alone, but they're more afraid of commitment. They they don't want, they want to have that freedom and still be able to date, but not be, tied down with somebody. I think a lot of men have that issue. And
I would say
women.
and women
Plenty of
and
women
vice
have
versa. I mean, vice versa, yeah,
The closet.
Yeah, and what motive sparks that? Well, I mean, it just depends. Again, it's all on the mindset. If you, like I said, if your mind is distorted, then you're gonna be searching for a long while, and I'll be open enough to say that I haven't been in a relationship in a long time, because I'm still, for myself, trying to find out who I really am, and obviously, with all that, I don't want to cause turmoil with somebody else and get them into a mix-up. So I feel like it's better to stay single, work on yourself before you get involved with somebody, because it could end up ugly.
And when you evolve, you're gonna attract better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So Andy, being a millennial, give me your opinion on this.
Yeah.
What because I'm sure you know a lot of people, that just acquaintances and friends and stuff.
Of course.
But and now you can see it, because I know you've been through all of this. I mean, we've studied together for years, and So the question is, why are people unable or unwilling to become a person that's ready for a relationship before they dive into relationships?
That's an easy question.
This-
So, yeah, it has a lot to do with them having to sacrifice a lot of pleasures. To be in a relationship, it is a commitment to someone else, and to being the best person to them, and to giving them your love, your time, your patience. And to do that, you have to sacrifice, you know, am I gonna go hang out with my friends and go here, go there, go travel, or am I gonna spend the time to nurture this relationship? And to nurture a relationship, in any, whether that be with a person that your significant other, or whether that be a coworker or a friend or a family member, you sacrifice something to nurture that relationship.
True.
And it takes a lot for a person to give up their pleasures, and until someone is ready to do that for a relationship, I believe that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that comes full circle with the humility, you know, because again, you know, you're putting the level of importance, you know, some might be putting it higher than others, and again, you know, humility is affected there, so it kind of correlates with that, you know, as we spoke about earlier. So I think that's a good point that Andy made.
It takes a lot of effort.
Takes a lot of effort.
It takes a lot of effort to work on yourself. To be better for the next relationship. These are godlike qualities, you know. We're man and woman. It's not natural for us. It's natural for us to go with our you know, like she said, the pleasures and our own, you know, desires. We're self-centered, so it's easier for us to choose those things.
That is right.
What a climax!
Podcast over, guys. Thanks.
I forgot you were there.
Boys and girls. No, this is the radio.
Yeah.
We need to be talking.
Well, Kyle, I want your opinion on this. You know, why is it that someone can actively participate in what could end up to be in flimsy relationships, etc., too many relationships, or why would they do that before they're ready to go?
Why would they do that before they're ready to go?
Man, so as far as like people jumping from relationship to relationship and never letting there be a break, I think that it's a big issue in that people put the value of themselves on that person, and just put all their eggs in that basket, basically. And the fact that people aren't willing to be single and truly figure out who they are and find, you know, do I want to be in a relationship? And like I've always been in relationships, and I've actually felt the exact opposite, and that I've been in a relationship wondering, like, is this the right thing? And I just see my friends constantly jumping for the next best thing, and just going wherever the tide takes them, and whatever's the most fun approach and all that. And I just think we're always, you know, as millennials, we're raised to always jump to the next best thing, and the sense of entitlement comes into relationships. And I just think all the bad qualities about millennials are like amplified in relationships. And that's why you see all the issues we have now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a, go ahead, I'm
I was
sorry.
say, yes, baby boomers got it all figured out.
Yeah. Well, you guys did
I'm
this to us.
62, still looking for a
What
relationship.
about Gen X? We have it all together.
So you had a comment though.
I actually had a suggestion. So
Okay.
I think that we should elaborate more on the questions that you have, or like when Eduardo was talking about, you know, your mindset. Well, what is that mindset? And the questions that you have, like if you elaborate on the details,
Sure.
so that people understand, you know,
The
who
question.
are we talking about?
Yeah. So the question, just so we're clear on this one, is that why do people jump from relationship to relationship or into a relationship before they are ready. Now, what does ready mean?
Well, you got to be independent.
Emotionally.
I think that's a good
Emotionally.
ready
Independent.
position. Be
Independent. But wait, independent, emotionally independent,
And financially.
and financially independent. Correct?
Absolutely.
So, what does emotionally independent mean? I'm going to break this down for you the simplest way. Can anybody tell me what emotionally independent is?
Being able to, stand alone, whether that person is there or not. If somebody, you don't need somebody else to be there to, as guidance, comfort, whatever the case may be.
To be what?
It's to be independent, to be, to be, basically just emotionally strong enough to be stable, whether that person is there or not.
You are all the love that you need.
But remember, there is no person. We're saying before there's a person,
Before
we
there's
need to be emotionally independent and financially independent. What does emotionally independent mean?
You're responsible for your own happiness and your own joy.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that, and also an emotional independent person understands that they can take criticism well. For one, they're able to take themselves out of the equation. They see things in a logical sense where, it's like that phrase that I would say, what I say to you, it doesn't bother me if it hurts you emotionally, because how you think about yourself is what matters. So if I say something to you, you should be emotionally strong enough to know that what I say shouldn't affect you, right? Somebody who's emotionally strong doesn't take things personally, right? So you, going back to what Fernando said, I love me, right? So how people treat me, that's how they are. Yeah, I'm not emotionally affected by it.
Right.
An emotionally strong person is able to leave a relationship because they value themselves.
Right. So I was asking that question, and you touched on it right there, even though you kept talking about emotionally, right, independent. To me, at a basic level, is to love oneself. If you love yourself, you have the confidence. True love, right? True love. I love where I'm at. I love who I am. I love what I'm going to be today, and I love what I'm going to be tomorrow. The past is gone, but I know who I am. That kind of security is what gives you emotional independence, right? So I think we need to take a break, and then we can come back and we're going to do the PA's thing. So we already took us out earlier.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
take you out again because we want you to know what you're listening to. This is the Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today the show is also being brought to you by Elevate Health Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy, the latest innovation in the pursuit of optimal health.
All right, perfect. We'll talk to you on the other side. Thank you.
Yeah. Love stinks. Thank you.
One more time.
Stank
Love stinks. Oh, dude, scuba gear. Scuba gear.
It's about to get deep.
Stinks.
You know what that means, right, Kyle?
It's about to get deep.
It's about to get deep. It's about to get deep up in here. And that's because the PA has been impatiently waiting,
as usual,
to drop some knowledge on us. Wisdom.
Wisdom. Yes, I have been waiting patiently. And we've been having great conversations off of being recorded on our audio. So I want you guys to know that we got some good stuff going here. But I wanted to share a topic that I'm finding coming up more and more lately as I'm, in my 60s, early 60s now, and I'm in the dating world, looking to find that great relationship and get married and, be the responsible adult that I'd like to be. But I recently got a phone call from someone that I worked with about 20 years ago, and that I reconnected with about 4 years ago. and we flirted with a relationship for a little bit. And she was having some tough times when I reconnected with her, and so I kind of approached it as a friend, and it never got to any serious relationship, but we kind of had a little bit of a falling out, and there were a number of issues at play. So that was probably last contact was a little over 3 years ago, and so she calls me out of the blue the other day, and she left me a voicemail message, and so I returned the call, and we had a conversation on the phone, and she went on and on and on, and it sounded exactly like she did 4 years ago when she was in a mess. And I'm talking mess about just complaining about relationships, complaining about her job, complaining about, the weather, politics. I mean, it was just everything. And I got, oh my gosh.
Concern.
I remember why we didn't go anywhere with this relationship.
Okay.
So I'm like thinking, well, I'm going to be friendly towards her, but I do not want to reconnect in any way. And so she made a comment, and she talked about how tough things have been for her lately. And I'm thinking to myself, gosh, it's because you are a mess is why things are tough for you. But it didn't, it obviously didn't register, and I so wanted to get into what we teach on the Dating Doctor and talking to her about, it sounds like all your problems are because you focus on everything outside of your control, and you don't look inside of yourself to make things better and to give you a better shot at a great relationship. But I didn't go there because it was just, I just didn't go there. So I'm thinking, how do I get off this phone call, right? And then she says to me, I think I'm done dating. I think I give up. I don't want this. And she is somebody that I would say is in middle 50s. She's in her middle 50s, still very attractive, has a nice home 5 minutes from the beach, has a good job. A lot of things that on the surface look great, but she is a mess. I mean, she probably has a drinking problem. She probably has, I think she has 5 cats. And she's a cat lady. She's a cat lady, and I think 1 or 2 cats is probably
only
good.
Only dog people.
I think she has a great personality.
And so she's got a fun personality.
Okay.
But so she made the statement that she's done dating, but yet the whole time we're on the phone, she's trying to get together with me, straight up trying to get together with me, and not really hiding it very well. And so I thought to myself, this would be a great subject to talk on the show about, because in this world of dating now, with people that are in their let's say last third of life, people in their 50s and 60s, well, third,
Hyperbaric oxygen.
30, 30, and 30.
120,
I don't know.
140.
Not even half yet.
Well, anyway, considered older, the older crowd. You guys consider me Grandpa Steve here, so the older crowd. I've heard that from many people saying, I give up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to make the effort. And when I hear them say that, all I'm really hearing is that they do not want to make themselves of a quality that makes sense to put together with another person of quality to have that great relationship. And what do we teach here? We teach, techniques and strategies to have a great relationship. And so I listened to her, and I thought, man, somebody else just said that to me a couple of months ago on another date. I'm giving up. My cousin, I went to a funeral and ran into my cousin. She's my age. She said the same thing to me. She probably gave up 15 years ago because she's a kind of a mess. And so what I realized is that the reality of whether we are suitable for a great relationship is really only based on one thing, is that, do you love yourself? And what is a quality that you have to offer somebody else? And if you love yourself and that quality is high for what you have to offer, you are ready and open to meet that great person and have that great relationship. If you don't have those things, you're going to say ridiculous things like, I'm done dating, when you're still viable, attractive, and have probably 30 years at least to live in your life. And she's saying, I'm going to live with my cats. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good. So that's what I wanted to share, guys, and I wanted to start a conversation based on that, because this is not uncommon.
It's quite the setup.
All right, go for it, Kyle.
Yeah, I think that one of the big issues I see in a lot of people is that they actively try dating, and they make it an activity and a goal and something that is a carrot that they're always dangling in front of them. And you gotta let it come organically. Like, if you're honestly, like, not looking for a relationship, the chances of that coming in front of you and it being the right one are so much higher than if you're on a timeline trying to look for it.
Yeah,
and
you
that's
don't
the
wanna
thing is
force
that,
it.
exactly, I think people are always have that in front of them, and it's a sense of urgency, and it turns into fear essentially.
You can't force an organic relationship.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that's a big piece.
So not
when
looking
you-
for it is what you're saying. Not looking for it.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
When
That's
you-
a perspective.
When you were explaining this, I was kind of thinking along those lines that maybe her throwing out to you, I'm done dating, was actually more saying, I'm going to let it happen naturally, versus I'm done dating.
No.
Really? You
No.
think that
Not in this situation.
she's gonna say
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
So obviously, Steve, there's a trend because the people that are telling you I give up on dating are the ones that are a hot mess, and it's not because they're giving up; it's because the people that they want aren't looking for them.
Well, I don't think anybody's looking for a hot
Nobody's-
mess.
yeah, who's
so
gonna
I
be looking
agree,
for a hot
I
mess?
agree with that.
No, she's
Yeah,
right.
no, there's nobody that's looking for a
Yeah.
hot mess.
For a shipwreck.
Do
Nobody.
they think that they are potential for somebody? Is that what you're saying? That this hot mess thinks that she is a good match for someone?
No. She's saying that she knows she's not, so that's why she's giving up.
It's a way of saying that because she
Yeah,
knows
she
she's a
knows.
mess.
She knows she's a shipwreck, and she can't get this engine running. It's sunk.
No one wants
She's
a project.
done. You ever seen a shipwreck? Can't fix it.
It's sunk.
Sunk.
Okay? Titanic. Queen Mary, Titanic, two different things. Queen Mary floating. Titanic, we don't know where's at.
She was a mess.
See, so
But
no,
she was a
she,
beauty.
you know, when I said
Most of
no,
them are.
is that you know, because you said no, she's not saying, you know, this has no positive spin to it.
No,
This is
it
a
doesn't.
straight up person that, whether they realize it or not, is not working on themselves or didn't in the past. She or he now think it's too late to fix it, and certainly thinks it's too hard. And now they're, what they mean by I'm done dating, yet she's trying to.
Hit on him.
So, no, they're not done. But this is the defense mechanism they tell everybody
Well, it's
for
a story.
for why they're
It's a
alone.
story.
For why they're alone.
It's obvious that whatever she's trying to hide is pretty visible. It's not, you're not missing it if you pay attention just for. Plus, I know the woman, and I could literally, what I wanted to tell her is, go, you know, you're still the same mess you were 4 years ago when I reconnected with you after not seeing you for 15 years, 16 years.
That's courageous.
And I
I was going to say
you
the
know,
same thing.
And I mentioned a couple of things to her. I said, you know, you still have a drinking problem? And she was like, oh my God, what? What do you mean?
That's
I
courage.
gave her one example.
Hey, happy to see you so low. You still drinking?
I gave her
Obviously you are, you're calling me, like, geez.
Are you drunk?
All right, now listen, this is important. She
I'm
says, you know, why did you stop calling me? She's kind of giving me that stuff. And I said, well, the last time we did something together, you probably don't remember, but we went dancing and you fell on the floor 3 times because you were drunk before I picked you up and you were already drunk. You could not dance. And I'm like, that's why I'm asking you, you still have a drinking problem?
Drinking or problems
She goes, well,
with.
I was going through a lot of things back then.
It's called pre-gaming, Steve. You just don't understand.
It's not pregame.
If I wanted a comatose woman, I guess she would have fit the bill. But I was looking for somebody a little
Liquid
alive.
courage.
Plus a tip.
Liquid courage.
Yeah, and
You don't have
so
to
Those
face the
lightweights are
problems.
cheap.
you know, it was kind of
Did you
sad
mention
in a
her
way.
circle of concern versus his
I didn't get
circle?
into any detail
Yeah.
of
Oh.
this because
Did you just say the dating doctor? That's all you had to
I didn't even tell her I'd do a dating show because I just needed to get off the call.
She's
I
helping.
needed to be straight up. I needed to get off. I wanted to help her.
Dating doctor.
Going
But
through a tunnel.
yeah,
Go
so
through a tunnel.
I just, you know, it re-emphasized for me the value of what we're doing here and helping people get a little bit better game plan and acknowledging what we need.
to loop back to that, I think that a lot of people think that their life is missing some things or sucks because they are single, when they don't realize that they are the reason why their life sucks. And getting someone else involved is going to complicate it. I see it so often. So often people's walking around unhappy thinking that that's the missing piece to their life.
No humility.
It's a bigger mess.
So,
No humility there.
like Jim Rome says, I'm waiting for the guy to come back and turn me on. It's like, but what if the guy doesn't come? Like, you need to take care of you and your life. You can't be waiting on the Savior. So the issue here that you're talking about is true and real.
Goes back to dependence.
And what Steve is talking about is true and real. I'm not anywhere near Steve's category, but I know a lot of my friends who have just said, oh, I'm giving up on it, which is another way of saying, I don't want to put in the work in making myself a valuable component for somebody else. I just don't want to do the heavy lifting. And that's sad, because like Steve said, there are lots of wonderful men and women out there who could be what you were talking about, just relationships, friendships, or dating, and they just give up.
Or developing into more.
And developing into more.
I mean, I'm 61, going to be 62, and I still feel very lively, energetic. There's a lot to look forward to, and but I know people in my age group that they've kind of given up. They kind of said
thrown down the anchor.
they kind of said the heck with it, and it just seems outrageous to me. I mean, and I know there's younger people that have said the same thing. I remember when I was in my 40s, I would have people say that out loud. Somebody in their 40s saying, you know what, I'm done with this dating thing. It's just too much trouble, and my heart got broken again. And this is people in their 40s. And now that I think about it, I've heard it in every age group that I've been in. Yeah. People they say they've given up. It's not true.
This is interesting.
Well, it's outrageous and interesting. Because we got to get better.
Yeah.
And if we don't get better, whatever age you are, you're going to throw in the towel, or at least mentally say, I'm throwing in the towel.
Someone says that their heart was broken, and therefore now they're done.
I've heard that many times.
I've heard that
many
too.
times.
They don't trust
What is that
anyone.
insinuating?
They don't trust
fragile.
anyone.
How's life supposed to flow
Yeah.
in their mind?
That somebody else is supposed to make life for them, instead of them pulling themselves up by their...
But is heartbreak part of life?
Right.
Who doesn't know that?
It totally is.
But see, it's back to what Andy said about loving yourself. If you love yourself, if you know that what you have is valuable and you are loving, then this wouldn't happen. These people are missing that component. And that's tragic, because not only are they missing that component for their dating lives, they're missing that component for their families, for their job, for their 5 cats. I mean, they're missing it for everything.
Poor cats.
Those cats.
Poor cats.
I'm not getting another cat. You hear me? You break my heart. I'm done with you cats.
I think that heartbreak's an important part of somebody, and with their ability to pick the right person the next time, but just the general thought that I think there's a certain amount of suffering in life that everyone needs to go through to mold who they are and be able to bring on, tackle adversity when it's brought to you. And I think heartbreak's great.
It's just another challenge.
We don't volunteer for it, but we should accept it and
It
grow
sucks
from
when
it.
you're going through it, but when you're on the backside of it,
Heartbreak
you're like,
is not. It's part of life. I mean,
we
everybody
get a
here has been heartbroken. Pretty safe.
At least
to say?
once.
Yeah.
the power of it is strong.
You've not.
Everybody might
You've
say.
You've never been heartbroken. Oh, perfect. Well, you gave up on dating, though.
Yeah.
Today you said that when you came in. You go, I'm done dating.
I
I'm
know, I
done.
didn't say that.
You did.
No, I said that I am going to work on me so that
okay.
when I'm dating,
So
I've
you're
got
not
something
dating.
really
So you're
valuable.
not done dating.
I'm not done dating. Oh, absolutely not.
What you said earlier. Wait.
little
You
high.
said it. You said it.
Kyle.
I believe Kyle said this, but this systematic thing. Who said the systematic dating thing? I don't get that either. Okay, first of all, I'm done dating. What's the opposite of that?
I'm gonna date.
I'm gonna go
serial
dating.
dating.
What is either one of those? That's why I have an issue with like online dating in particular because it's like systematic.
It's an activity.
It's like, I'm gonna go dating. Like, what does that infer?
like
What
a
does that
hobby.
I'm
mean?
gonna go
It's like a hobby.
fishing. I'm gonna go dating. I'm gonna take this other
If you're
person
gonna
into
meet
my
the right
life.
person, then you're gonna meet the right person by being the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the right person, you meet the right person. Period. They're out there.
And then it also goes in the reverse because going back to the hot mess that Steve was talking about initially, these people, I'm not going to say women, it can be men as well, don't realize that they're the wrong person. It's not that they can't find the right person, it's just that they're the wrong
There you
person.
go. There you go.
That is a fine. That's what we're talking about
That's
here.
it.
It is not that you give up on dating.
No.
Is that you give up on trying to be the great person that you
Right.
can be.
Right.
A good candidate
They
for
don't-
a relationship.
They don't want to do the heavy lifting. I've gone through 3 marriages and countless relationships. I'm done. Well, that just means that you've got that much more growing to do.
Yeah, it's the easy way out.
So you went
Just an
through
excuse.
3 marriages. There's got to be something wrong with that.
There might be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They think it's the other people, right?
Crap
Yeah.
Right, they
It's
think
like they don't know that it's them. They're
Right,
the
how did-
victim.
they're the
Oh,
victim.
this world.
They're
Oh,
in-
these men.
Yep.
There's nobody who can take me and
For
as
what
their
I
wife.
am.
What's
And
wrong
make
with
me
the men
happy.
in the world?
A bunch
And make
of
me
dumb
happy. Give me my Mercedes G-Wagon. Okay?
It's out in the parking lot.
What
I want my
what is
Maybach.
wrong with these guys? Not making the money
Yeah.
they need to make. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm dating a bunch of bums. What do these guys get the nerve? I'm done.
How dare them? How dare those bums come to me?
Yes.
How dare those bums come?
I
talk to me?
deserve
Those
much
peasants.
better.
How dare that guy living with his mom?
Where's the keys to my
without a
Hyundai? I'm
job,
getting out of here.
and He drives a bike.
We're getting
sounds
snobby.
simple,
We're getting
but-
We are
snobby.
getting-
We're
yeah.
getting. That's it. That's
We're
good.
not
I like
being
it.
compassionate.
No, but I like it.
It's so simple.
I like it because the subject that
complicated.
Steve's talking
That
about
makes sense.
is now, and we haven't talked about. But see, here's what we talked about that relates to all of this. You understand me? That was my phone. Okay, so the thing that we talked about was the foundational dozen.
A baker's dozen.
But what was it? It was 13 principles
Mm-hmm.
that we shipwreck on air. Are you listening? Are you listening?
Reference the episode.
Yes.
That was that was S1 S2.
Yeah.
That was S1 E2.
We've done a bit of it.
S3.
That was the second episode. So look,
17 episodes.
the 13 principles. And by the way, it's not just 13, but we chose 13 because we had to choose 13.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you right now, this entire thing was about building your iceberg with good ice. Right? With
Quality
good
ice.
quality
Good
ice.
ice. Good ice.
Okay, not the kind that chips every time somebody touches or flicks it or melts.
No
word is
polluted.
melt.
No polluted ice.
No yellow ice.
So
No,
you
you-
ask, guys, you
I've seen that
ask,
before.
you ask, how can I become better so that I can deserve, keyword, not obtain,
No.
no. How can I get better so I can deserve a great relationship? Well, guess what? To deserve a great relationship, you have to build your iceberg. And you also have to have your standards so that you don't accept.
Titanics.
Ooh,
You cannot
nice.
be in a
Iceberg,
relationship.
Titanic. Oh,
Two
nice.
shipwrecks cannot be in a relationship. Hence, you.
Sink.
Hello?
Titanic.
Bloop, bloop.
Two Titanics.
Not good.
Iceberg
Titanic.
sinks the Titanic.
That's good, Andy.
That
Right?
was very good.
Burbujas.
Iceberg, Titanic.
Bubble.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Remember I used to call this guy Burbujas? Bubbles?
Oh, yes.
Titanic. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
remember?
in the beginning.
He's
I
up.
forgot that.
He's up.
Oh my
Guys, you gotta work on you. How do you work on you? You choose the principles and you work on them in you. Then you have them built up, and then when you see other people, since you know what you want and you know what you do not want, it's real simple. You're not going to compromise with the wrong person, and you're not going to be afraid to ask someone if they are the right person, because you know that you are
You already
the
know you're
right
the right person. Yeah.
You are the right person for them or for anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why the soulmate thing makes no sense. Soulmate.
Soulmate.
All these shipwrecks talking about you my soulmate.
I don't even know what that means.
What is a soulmate?
I don't know.
Inexplicable.
A dude walking around with a 7 Habits book?
It's popular.
Oh, you're my soulmate. Well, if it ain't that, what is a soulmate?
It goes back to the chemistry thing. It goes back to, I mean,
Chemistry.
You look at these dating sites and you see the nonsense that are in there, and you know they paint this rosy picture, but it has nothing to do with them in terms of what they're offering. It's like my life is perfect. Now what do you got? And that's the way I read it. And it's like, well, tell me about what makes you, ready, special, available. And I don't see it. I don't see it because I don't think people are thinking of it. And if you guys want to have a good laugh, go to a dating site and read some of the profiles.
I remember
It's funny as heck.
I wrote them down.
Funny as heck. And then you see the blurry pictures, which are always great, or the pictures from 20 years ago that is supposed to represent today. It's like, hello? It's crazy. It's cuckoo.
I don't know. Who holds the online dating high in high regards here? Give me some thoughts about that.
Well, I've used it as a tool.
Yeah.
And I have a profile out right now.
Yeah.
And it's a hidden profile.
Mm-hmm.
But
Does it say I follow a principle-centered life? I'm looking for the same in my girl.
Well, my profile does. My profile does. Where'd you get that?
I
That's the
wrote
one
this.
she made up.
Listen, I made one.
Nice. My hidden profile now.
Yes, I wrote
That I
it.
know.
Austin, you did online dating?
It was the Bumble Tinder thing.
Okay.
That's not
so
online
that's a
dating.
hookup
That's
thing, right?
the
More of a
hookup.
hookup.
So that
That's
the
the millennial
that's-
version of
That's swipe left,
Match.com.
swipe right.
Not
the
necessarily.
millennial
millennial
version.
I went on like
It's not-
10 dates with a
Well,
girl.
they
I wouldn't just consider
categorize-
that hooking up.
They both, I guess, could be categorized in that
Oh,
regard.
you saw value in it then?
You like?
Oh, I thought you kind of dissed it. I mean, there was more like.
There was one girl I probably went on like 10 dates with.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Did you ask her the dirty?
wait a
answer?
minute. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This was before we met you?
Yeah.
Well, of course, but let's talk about this, Austin. 10 dates.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? What happened on the first date that made you go on the second?
It was the chemistry.
The chemistry.
Personality.
Oh, God.
Soulmate.
You had to
You
say
didn't say
chemistry.
chemistry.
I had to.
You
Can
just
you
said it.
explain chemistry?
Oh, shoot.
I think in most of my relationships, I've lacked a girl that can really make me laugh. So when I find a girl that can make me laugh, I like fall for that.
Then you do 10 dates with them.
So laughing
There
gives you
was-
10 dates
3 years
with
Austin.
Austin. Hey, you should put that in your profile.
But it runs
You
out.
make me laugh. I
What
give
happened?
you
What
10
happened to the
dates.
jokes? You didn't. What happened to the 11th date?
Stop laughing.
She ran out of jokes.
Wait a minute. What do we call that iceberg? What do we call that iceberg?
Oh.
That's a very weak iceberg.
Yep.
That's
Jokes?
an Ice Cube.
Jokes. Jokes. Come on. Jokes. What else? Amuse us. I'm interested in knowing how it went 10. Where it went 10 times.
It was just our personalities clicked really well.
Yeah.
So it was just a good time the whole time.
Okay.
Superficial?
And what happened?
Superficial, yes.
Superficial, yes.
Qualified.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Check that
Thank
one
you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Check that box.
I think for me, I relate my happiness when I'm laughing a lot. I'm very happy when I'm laughing, and so when I'm with my friends, I'm laughing a lot, I'm happy, and so I've always wanted a girl that can do the same thing. So like I said, when I found that, I kind of held on to it, but that only went so far, and you know, there wasn't a whole lot of character behind that.
Development.
So it was just a good time. It was like a really good, fun girlfriend.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
Yeah.
And
He's trying to hang with the boys.
So how many more 10 dates are you willing to do?
Am I willing to do?
Yeah, with funny girls.
I think it's jokers. It's something that I do look in for a girl. Like that's one of the things that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I want to be able to make them laugh too. I think that's important to me.
But I mean, why didn't it last? If what you want is to laugh.
It's not the end all be all.
It's not enough.
So
to make a
then why would you
relationship.
go on a second?
Do you think I was like super character based back then?
Hey, no.
Don't assume.
Hey, Ray.
Don't assume.
Hey.
Pleasure.
I don't know.
He's
There is
taking it
pleasure
personal.
involved.
He's taking it personal. I'm just asking the question over here. I'm trying to figure out why. This is good because I want to figure out why people would waste time. Knowing who you are is a way to cut out wasting time out of your life. Knowing who you are, knowing who you want, or what you don't want.
I enjoyed spending time with her.
Why are you not with her? You keep saying that, but I'm asking, why are you then not with her today?
Because there's more than that. There's
But
more to
why
it.
didn't you know that the first date?
I
didn't
was
know
looking
you had-
past it. I was just looking for a good time. I was just looking for a girl that could offer
Hence-
something that I didn't have before. There was a void.
Okay. How many more are you willing to do? Same way.
I'm not looking for that, but I do want a girl that can make me laugh. That is like that's
With
a
no
prerequisite.
character. How many more?
No. There needs to be character.
Let's hit it
I,
on
I have
Let's find
friends.
this guy a girl.
I have friends that do make me laugh, but I'm not willing to date them. So, like I said, laughter is not the end all be all. There's got to be more than that. I have a girl that lives 2 minutes away from me. We hang
Makes you
out.
laugh.
Makes me laugh, but I would never date her.
But you can go out with her on Friday night to watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
She makes you laugh.
Yep.
But would you rather? Are you saying you'd rather go out with a girl that made you laugh on a date 10 times, knowing you're not going to be with that person?
It seems like a waste of time right now.
Right now.
Well, this is what I'm trying. This is what we teach on the show, right? Don't need to waste time.
Yeah.
There's no need to waste time. If you know what you want and know what you don't want, it's very simple.
And I enjoy my time alone. I enjoy being alone at home with my dog or just being with friends. So it's almost it's like them trying to force me to hang out with them almost. It's like a struggle there. So for me, it's a competition between them or just being with myself, and usually that wins.
Good.
This is a whole subject.
Who else used online dating? Lalo.
21.
Fernando. What you do?
When I was 21.
When you was 21?
Yeah.
What's the advantage of that?
A couple weeks ago.
Well, it was years ago that I used it.
Oh, you said like it was a strategy.
No. There was no advantage.
So what happened?
Man, it's rough. It's rough out there. It's bad. It was just like a hooking up site.
Oh.
So you go out one night. I never got to 10 dates. It was like 2.
Well, I had those two.
Yeah.
What was the dating site called? Crash and Burn?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Never again.
All aboard the
For that only is 1 or 2 dates. What
about you, Lalo? Online dating.
My experience on online dating, good and bad. Pros and cons. I mean,
Couple of wives.
Couple of temporary.
Couple divorces.
I'm just kidding. No. Well, I think depending on which one, because there's 2. There's a lot of people are familiar with both the top 2, which would be Tinder and Bumble. The top 2 dating sites. Yeah.
As ranked by
critically acclaimed.
As ranked by
Yeah, Della, where's the
Algorithmic
Algorithmically.
Study show.
If that's a word.
You get the most hits if you swipe at 3 p.m.
Yeah. There is, believe it or not.
So the top two. So whatever the top two. The top two, because there's more happy marriages coming out of them, right? That's the top two.
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, I've actually, it's crazy. I've had a coworker that I used to work with at Starbucks, and it's, two of them actually. I had two of them that literally found somebody on there and married them. To this day, they're still married.
Yeah.
So it was, again, it can go any way depending on the person. This goes back to the person, what their intentions are.
So you worked with two people that got married on.
Yeah, back in my previous. Yeah, I had two coworkers that legitimately found their, husband or wife.
That says something about Starbucks.
Wow.
Currently, they're still coping. I would say, like, you can be in a relationship that doesn't mean
Right.
they're in a happy relationship.
No,
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say it's
Absolutely.
happy, but I mean, it led it led to more than just 10 dates. It led to a full-fledged marriage, and I mean, whether they're happy or not, then
It's all that matters. So don't go there.
well, that's what she brought it for. That's
But it's all that matters is if they are happy.
exactly, and whether they are or
she's
not,
right.
and whether they are or not. I mean, I don't know, but I know that because I've been.
So what? These guys were like principal centered, or I mean, what happened? How'd they get it, and you didn't get a wife out of this?
Going back to the the intentions, kind of like I mentioned earlier. I'm not in that mindset to actually commit with somebody right now. So that's why I haven't taken the next step into actually.
So good question. Why are you not in the mindset to commit?
Because I have a lot to work on with myself. I know that I'm lacking a lot of things, and it's a foundation that I need to build for myself in order to even stay, even start building something with somebody else.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
so I can't cheat somebody out like that. I'm not gonna put myself out there and make give them half of me when I know that I still don't have the other half of me to give them. So
Also, you can't expect to meet somebody that you want to be with being who you are.
exactly
That is whole themselves.
Exactly. So it's just it's not fair, and and that's going back to wasting your time. You don't want to waste your time if obviously if you know that you're not ready.
So you're not looking for nobody to make you laugh. In other words, right?
Not necessarily,
10 times. 10 times.
Not 10 times.
All right.
If it was 11.
All right. There you go. Marina, online dating at all?
Just wake up.
She's still up? She's still up over there.
Somebody poke her with a stick.
You're messing with her routine.
She's past her bedtime for sure, right, Marina?
She cold or
She
what?
literally
Right?
says,
I mean, it's 8 o'clock. So what? So
I did try to go on dates, but it didn't work,
Yeah.
so I haven't done it for
yeah.
a long time.
All right.
Doesn't work for me.
Online dating.
Yeah.
Okay.
she said she hasn't done it for a while.
Yeah.
No, I've tried it and it didn't work for me.
Oh, you did do it.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
You misled us.
I went on a couple dates.
We just couldn't hear her.
It didn't work for me. I
Yeah?
didn't understand. It was new for me.
You couldn't understand it.
I mean, the probability is not in your favor, so you have to give it
You have to
a good
probably do
shot.
it for a long time and like meet different people. And
There's a
see-
science. It's like
I
on the
don't know.
73rd,
Right,
right.
It's like
then
how-
you hit that one,
It's like
yeah,
all the calls.
algorithmically.
Yeah.
You gotta work on your
It's a
ratios.
word.
Yeah.
1 out of 5 swipes.
Yeah. Andy, what about you? Online dating?
It's like our call.
Well, just to give some context to the people that are listening, I'm 24 and I haven't been with anybody in 5 years.
Okay.
I've been fortunate enough to have a mentor for me to know better than to waste my time.
Yeah.
One, either dating somebody who I shouldn't be dating, or even spending the time not making myself the person that I want to be or need to be.
Right.
Although I do have a dating app or profile,
Uh-huh.
and it's more of a joke. I've never ever been on a date. I've never had a Tinder, but it's my profile is really funny because I am very honest, and on my bio it will say I'm selfish. I lack empathy.
I love it.
No, it's not.
That I love.
It's. Where's my phone? My phone's in my car now. My phone's not even here, but it says I lack empathy.
That I love.
I think I'm really funny, but that's subjective. It's subjective. People might think what I say is not funny.
Yeah, no.
And
You're
it's
funny.
very honest.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe how many swipes I get.
Of course.
Yeah, in
well,
these
honestly,
profiles.
it's because
They're
you're
not even
beautiful.
reading that.
They haven't been reading that
Beautiful.
anyway.
They're
so.
not reading
No, I
that.
know, right?
I never read it.
Guys don't read the bios, but they're like, sorry, it's like a sword fight with their finger.
Hey, Austin would have been out. Super like 10 times. Super like.
Let's get to the
That's
11th
why
date.
I
10
said-
dates.
That's why I said it's more of a joke
Yeah.
because one, I know that everything that's on these profiles are all personality. Oh, look, I'm pretty, and oh, look, I do this, and
Yeah.
oh, look, I work out, and
Yeah.
I'm looking for a person that, makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, it's all,
It's all
the
BS.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it is. It's tip of the iceberg. You're right. It's nothing below the water.
Poor
below the
Austin.
sea
But
level.
yeah,
Tip
I've never,
of the iceberg.
I've never been on a date. It's never
From
been-
online.
You're still
Yeah.
young, Andy. Don't worry.
Good.
It's okay.
You can be.
Your
with
time
us
will
for
come.
years.
No, I think
I'm not upset
It was a
about
good
I'm not
time.
looking for
Yeah.
that.
No.
anyway,
That's
but-
you know what. You
But
don't
you
need
love
to.
to dance?
It's
You can meet
I still talk to
people any given day
Yeah.
at
When I
lunch, at dinner,
Walmart.
at the bar.
Yeah.
Walmart.
No.
No, seriously.
Target.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Target
Walmart.
only, bro.
Wait.
Never
Look,
go down as
you
low
guys
as
gonna
Walmart.
tell me we got 3 ladies in the audience? You're gonna tell me that wherever you go, there's not men that are looking at you everywhere you go,
absolutely. Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Everywhere you go, there's people paying attention to you.
I look at
and what do
them
you do?
everywhere I
Right?
go.
You
All the
do.
time.
You try to stay
I feel really
this
good
way.
about it.
You put the horse blinders on. Right? You're horse blinded, right? Because they're looking at you.
My dream is to meet my
Right?
future wife at an Applebee's.
Yeah.
She gonna be serving you?
She might be. She might be.
Yeah, Applebee's. They're gonna
Ring
cater
right
to my
then and
wedding.
there.
Kyle, online dating.
A little bit. So I actually dated a girl for over 5 years, and we broke up in 2016, the beginning. And so when we first started dating, Tinder wasn't around.
Right.
And so I break up and get out of this relationship. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to move to Manhattan right after, right? So I got the floodgates open. And I had some fun with it for a while, but the quality and where people's heads are at that you meet there are not looking
Yeah,
long term.
I
Actually,
agree.
Minnie got my heart broken.
Oh.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
So there's this lady.
Minnie got my heart
Never
broken.
had my heart broken.
Never had your heart broken.
Gotta have a heart.
Got him.
Andy, I love you.
Okay.
So there was this lady. I think she said she was 38, and very, very good job, finance industry, all that stuff. And she'd call me. I realized she was like using me to take me to events and stuff, right? And then
Escort.
And then she would call me and we'd go over to her house and hang out. Just out of somewhere, she's like, started dropping some hints like, wow, like we're hanging out a lot, whatever. All of a sudden, she deleted me off every social network. She blocked my phone number and cut me off. And I was sitting there like, wait, I thought we had something going on here.
You silly boy.
And she was playing me. That was an interesting one. So
That was pretty
Tinder didn't go on too long after that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're full circle to humility. Was that humbling there?
I mean, I'm still hurt. Wait for that call. Call me.
You'll be okay.
Call me.
Oh, broken up.
Unbelievable.
So the talent pool, definitely you'd have to dive very, very deep to find what you're looking for. If you're looking for true relationship.
I agree.
Yeah.
They'll find you
Yeah.
when you're ready.
I'm such a huge fan and advocate for organic. Let it come to
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah, I like that too.
I just think that people push it too hard and are looking for it too hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
They say organic is healthier.
Is that so?
Gotta go
Thanks.
organic.
You're welcome.
Della,
Whole Foods over here.
online.
Yes, sir.
Online.
But of course I did. After my husband passed, my beautiful nieces set me up. They said, Auntie, you're too young, you're too lively, you've got to get back out there. So they wrote my profile
Of course.
and put me on several sites. And they were good and bad. I mean, actually, I'll take that back. There weren't any bad, but none of them were quality. But they're nice gentlemen, and there's nothing that I would say against them. But I have told you that since I've been a part of this show, it has really made a change for me. I don't go into an office and see 12 principals that I walk 20 principals every day. And so I'm learning, I'm adjusting, and I'm realizing that these men are very nice, but not what I'm looking for. I know what I want, and I know what I don't want. And so, yeah, I'm not on any of those sites any longer. All done with that. But that doesn't mean
dating.
I'm not done dating. I'm not done dating. Anyone out there? I'm 5'7". I got brown hair. Love to dance.
You're not 5'7".
Super funny. Super
She's always
warm.
wearing heels.
What's that?
Super funny.
Super funny.
She's a crack up.
She's worth 10 dates at least.
He's humble.
She will make you laugh.
Hilarious.
I hug addicted babies at Shock Hospital.
Oh.
Well, we had to talk
Catch
about
me there
Valentine's.
Wednesday
And her phone number is
Wednesday night.
That story.
Oh my God. Steve.
Somebody I dated.
Steve. Online dating, bro.
Online dating.
PA.
Oh, it's the best.
It's a secret.
No,
it's
it's
a
bad.
secret profile.
You know what? The online dating for me is a simple tool because my profile is a principle-centered profile, and if I see somebody out there that promotes something that is remotely close because it's rare as whatever
Unicorns.
something
Yeah,
as a unicorn,
it is.
you know, it would catch my attention. The problem is it does not exist. It is not out there. So it would be, my scenario is more like reach out to somebody that might be into a few things that I'm into, fitness, maybe they like to dance, maybe they are reading some good books, something like that, and then having the conversation and trying to find out where it is that they are with the quality that they're offering. And I haven't found anybody that is putting out what I'm looking for. It's not very common. And when I get into the conversations about this and I start talking about the dirty dozen questions or the principle-centered approach, or hey, let's go through a couple of the questions, it's awkward. It's just awkward, and I'm finding right now it's usually one and done. It's one and done for me.
Right.
One and done.
They're not funny.
It reminds me of that person.
They're not funny.
And I can't name them, but who was talking about online dating, and he wouldn't go on a date with them. He'll have a coffee quick in the morning before go to work, because in those 5-10 minutes that you sit with somebody, you should be able to figure out if this is worth your time, and if it is, then you don't do a coffee date, you go on a real date. So I mean, I can see that for somebody who's looking and ready to be in a relationship.
True. No, if you know what you want and know what you don't want, coffee, 10-minute coffee is a perfect first encounter. That's a good strategy.
And it's a tool at best. It's a tool at best, and the results for me have not been there, but it's just another way to meet people. And I know my approach is good intentions, so I just put it out there when it makes sense, and maybe something will come, something won't.
Are you on one of those swipe right, swipe left?
They all have a swiping feature of some sort.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, where you can skip one.
So you don't have to look at, you don't have to read about
You can click on it. You can
like
click an
keyword
X
search,
if you don't like
funny.
it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or you can
There's none of that.
scroll through.
We have an algorithm that
Algorithmically.
Algorithmically.
that filters for funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
guess
you
I
go.
missed
Nice,
that.
great personality.
Yeah.
The tip of the iceberg.
I guess I didn't
Tip of the
utilize
iceberg.
that.
Oh my gosh, there's your next business venture. It's
Yeah.
an algorithm that filters through profiles that search for the the characters.
There you go, Steve.
Principles.
Oh, and then
That's
it
our
will
new-
be like
that's our new one.
LinkedIn, where
Yeah.
people have to, on your profile,
Verify.
people verify or
Yeah.
Endorse.
Endorse.
endorse your
you.
characters,
Yes.
endorse your
Holy crap.
skills.
That would be it. Endorse.
I need to get that pen. Hold on.
Yeah, that's
Well, wait, say that. What now?
Well, like LinkedIn, you endorse
Yeah.
a person's
Yeah.
skills.
No.
So this would be an endorsement of your character.
Yes. No.
I thought it was
No.
a great idea. I'll go into
No, because your friends are gonna endorse you.
You
And
got everyone endorsing
No.
you.
Well, it would be the last person you
I would
That'd be
entertain
rough.
looking for people that say that they are kind and honest and this and that, because I'll do a 10-minute coffee if I'm one of the people looking. Do your 10-minute coffee and target, finding out.
It's a good starting
Or-
point.
It's a good
at
starting
least.
point, right?
What if we did it in a way that, just like you can rate your Uber driver, you can rate your dates with that person?
Oh.
It's very subjective.
Who would ever go back and be like, that was an
That's
excellent
yeah.
date?
Yeah, you said no to
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
dating anymore, but
No. Well, you know what? Think about it.
But if I say,
It's a Yelp.
Yeah.
you know, 10 people yelp,
10 people endorse
and
it.
5 people
What are
said
they
no.
endorsing? What are they endorsing?
Quality of the
That
day.
you are a great person.
Yeah, but
And they ended up not marrying you for some reason because you said you're not a good person.
You're not
Who are they to
having
be
a
the
second
judge?
or a third or a fourth date with that person.
They're probably
But
not
she's
funny.
quality.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear
She's
what you're
the
saying. I
best.
hear what you're saying. But sometimes people, like the other person is ready and you're not.
That could be.
And you might give them, well, you might not, you know, but true story. True story.
Entrepreneur over here.
Yeah. No, I like those ideas.
Mhm.
We should do that. Can you help me with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good business idea.
I like that idea.
That's going to be a scary way of dating for a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's all
Only the
recorded,
real
so
people someone's gonna
who
take
are-
your idea.
It will be an entire iceberg. It won't just be the tip.
It'll be the entire
Right,
iceberg.
iceberg.
Well, again,
That's what you
first
should
you're
call
looking
it,
for
icebergs.
certain words, and then you get the people will say, yeah, you know, yeah, I rank them 4.5, or her 4.5.
No, we're talking about well, first the characters.
Yeah, the words,
First the principle.
algorithm.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the
Yeah, I like
episode
that.
of Black Mirror
Yeah.
where they rate each other?
Oh, where they go ding, and then like
Yeah.
they have like a rating
Yeah.
score of like 5 out of 5
Hang
or
the
3
DJ.
out of
They're,
five.
That's the name, hang the DJs in that
they're already
episode.
doing like a
Hang the
rating
episode.
thing in China.
I've heard about
Yeah.
that. I mean, way to keep people accountable, but
Yeah.
it's a little much.
So what do we got? We got 8 minutes,
I think we went over
Negative
about half
14.
but this is an hour and a half. You're saying?
hour. Yeah, we're about an hour and a half.
No, I'm saying this is going to be 10 minutes to 2 hours right now.
They're split up in two, so this one's 50 plus another 25 plus another 25.
Yeah. So this is the end of 2 hours. So what's the time right now?
It's at 57.
So we like talking about this on air. You know.
49.
49.
So yeah, we got 5 minutes if you really wanted to, you know, because we didn't do any commercials, but the entire hour is okay. So 5 minutes. What can we say for 5 minutes? Anybody got something?
How about that Super Bowl? I was so bummed out. I don't know if you
I
guys.
bought my dad a TV because his TV was
And he
old.
kicked it in?
I'm like, you know what? My dad's TV is like doesn't have high def or something. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go buy him a TV. It was like I went to Best Buy and I'm like, I need that one.
Mhm.
I didn't even know how much it cost. I'm like, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
get him that one to
Yeah.
go watch the Super Bowl because
Yeah.
I was invited to go to a few parties, but
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I gotta, start my first day
Yeah.
next tomorrow, so I'm gonna go hang out with my dad.
Mhm.
And I was so disappointed
Mhm.
watching this Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I cannot believe I spent all this money to watch this.
Uh,
I mean,
oh.
I did it for my dad, but
Yeah. Is he a New England fan? I'm a New England fan. He's not.
no,
Oh,
no, he's not.
he's a Ram fan.
But we,
Oh, he's
we
been a Ram
always
fan.
root for, well,
The
he's
home
a
team.
Raider fan.
Oh, that's
Raider
right.
fan,
That's right.
Raider
That's right.
fan.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But we always root
That's
for the
rough.
underdog
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So let's talk about. The question that I had earlier was vision. How important vision was in the relationship, and how little attention we put on it and emphasis.
Vision.
Vision.
I have terrible vision.
Yeah,
I'm like
that's a
20
problem. That's a
20.
problem too, right? That's a problem too because
I wear glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because then you wake up the next morning and then
And,
you
oh
actually
my
see them up
gosh.
close and it's like, dude,
Scary.
You see who you wake up next to.
Yeah.
it doesn't last 10 days.
Yeah, that's
I feel
exactly
like we're
what she
talking about
meant.
the wrong.
Yeah, I know. So vision, right? We talked about this, Kyle, right?
We did.
Vision.
Yeah.
You know, how important is vision
No, I
in
think,
a relationship?
I think in a relationship, it's huge. You got to be on the same page, heading in the same direction. And when the fork in the road happens, if one's headed the other way, say hard work, dedication, sacrifice, and the other one wants to reap all the benefits of that and not put in the work, then you're going to have issues. That's something I dealt with in that long-term relationship I was in. Is I was essentially putting a girl through college. I worked in West Texas in the oil field, and I'd be apologizing to her that I was working too often while funding her life. And it was very interesting to realize that we weren't on the same vision, and it's something that I'll be very, very conscious of, and it's something I'm battling with a little bit right now is, hey, I'm going to be putting my nose to the grindstone and really getting it here at work and trying to get the other person on the same page and understand, like, hey, I'm not going to be here often, but it's going to be in the best interest for both of us in the long run. And I think if you guys aren't on the same track, same vision, that it'll always be something that you're working against. And I don't want to be sitting here at work trying to figure out, am I going to be doing better by staying here at work and bettering, my career, or am I going to be doing more damage at home? And that's a battle that I think a lot of people have to battle, whether it's their time or energy or whatever it may be. And you got to be on the same page. Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, I'm gonna ask you guys the same question, but what I'll tell you is that the fix is knowing what you want and knowing what you don't, because you can't worry about the other person. You see, the problem is we want the tip of the iceberg, so then we go off into the sunset, and then when the ice melts and there's nothing left, we know we made the wrong choice. Inevitably it happens. Inevitably. Because we didn't know what we wanted. We didn't ask for what we wanted. We don't know what we don't want. And it always becomes an issue down the line. Right? Vision, very important. Della, why don't people find out about vision on the first date?
Because of pleasure, because of, that's something I'll attend to later. But I am finding that is imperative. Even though, I'm not in a position where I'm going to be considering children or any of that, I still want to know, I have a definitive vision of where I'm going to be in 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years. And I can't waste my time with somebody who doesn't have those clear-cut vision either. And then there's the visions that Kyle was just talking about, when you may not be on the same page for the little things. So I think it's imperative that vision is discussed right up front, because where is it going to go from there? You've got,
and keep this in mind, because this is the big question. Why don't people do it? Why do they hesitate to say on the first date, dude or ma'am, what is your vision for the next 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years?
I actually asked that. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So it's really important for people to understand the difference between personality and character, because personality is what you want people to think of you, and character is who you are. So when you go into a first date, it's all personality. I have such a great personality. I'm friendly. I'm outgoing, and it goes both ways. Both the man that you're with, and the girl.
The two.
She's friendly. She's cute, but really she's cold-hearted and rude.
Right.
And she's not humble and a snob and this, that, and the other. So when let's say I will tell a friend, and this has actually been the case where, this was a while ago, but if I tell a guy, let's say I'm on a date with him, I want, to have kids, and that guy's like, I'm not, he's gonna be like, why are you telling me this right now? It's our first date, right? But I'm like, I know what I want.
Exactly.
And you're telling me that, well, you don't really think you want to have kids? I'm not gonna waste another day with you. But that's,
even if he is funny, right?
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, Austin. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said it right this time.
So that's a really important piece, to know the difference of personality and character. Going on the first date, it's not wrong to ask those big questions, to say, I want to get married. I want to raise my kids, in a Christian faith. I want to have 3 kids. I want to have, a big house and drive nice cars, or I want to, have my own business. Like, those are the things that you need to come up with in the beginning, so that person, either if he's going to be like, I'm on board, I want this woman, or is intimidated by you and said, I'm going to leave. Like, this is not a relationship for me.
Yeah.
Because coming to that person, or being able to say those things up front will save you a lot of time. And, you won't be stuck with the wrong person.
Absolutely. That's why we need to ask that question. And I'm telling you guys, vision is unbelievably important. And most people don't want to bother up front. Because they're looking at that tip of the iceberg, and that's what they want. They want to get involved with that, and it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Saying it in the first date is important, because wasting another date, or wasting another week or month or a year or 3 years is important.
And it makes no sense, because if that's your strategy, then you're willing to do it with 30 people. I say the way I think about life is, if you're willing to do it with one, you're willing to do it with 30. And that's why I was asking Austin, how many people are you going to do 10 funny dates with?
Right.
You know,
Well,
it doesn't fit a universal model. You know?
It doesn't show any respect to the other person either. You know, what are you doing with 10 dates of making jokes? Is this where we're going to go?
I got jokes.
I got you. You got jokes?
She got jokes, bro.
Might make it 11.
Make it 11. He's learned. Steve, close this out, man. We're about to take this out.
All right, guys, we are ready to roll into the sunset. So just to remind you, you've been listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today the show has also been brought to you by MeetingSinglesNow.com, where we bring you the best events to meet quality singles.
All right, man. We're gonna head out here, but we are going to love to talk with you guys next week as we come back. And I think we need to talk vision, because this vision thing is getting deep and it's getting good. And
Let's get our gear.
we got to get Marina to bed here because she's about to. So I think you guys love you. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.